Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of the world famous tripartite.
The tripartite?
Tripartite? What is that?
Loom plotters.
I don't know.
Great start.
Sure.
The tripartite loom plotters. We are three today.
Yes, back again is Mahmoud. Hello, Mahmoud.
Hi, Martin. Hi, Ralph. Thank you for
Hello,
inviting
Mahmoud.
me again.
Good to have you here.
It's our generic third party, right? The one that we always call. But it's always nice to have you. And once again, it's good to talk watches. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start, of course, we should do a wristwatch check because we keep forgetting this. So why doesn't the honorable guest go first?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I've got on my wrist today the Vacheron Constantin Comte de Vache in rose gold. It's a watch that I acquired recently. After a lot of thought, I've been tracking this watch for maybe about a year. Put a deposit, waited a little bit, and then, made up my mind, had some issues with thinking whether I should cancel it or not. And surprisingly, one of the reasons why we're thinking about canceling it is how it fares on the gray market and what is the secondary market price as well. But then I said, you know what? I love the watch so much. Let's just go with it. And I bought it 2 months ago.
As
So
you
bought it
should.
from the
As I
boutique.
should.
And
From
don't
the boutique.
don't let aftermarket or whatever after sales prices discourage you from buying the watches you love, right? They're not investments. They're toys. Yeah.
They're toys.
And
But
what
don't
did you
tell my
do to
wife
this
that.
watch? What did you do to this watch?
What did I do to this watch? I changed the strap on the watch. I got a John Paul Manicucci strap, which dresses it down. It's got the side stitching on it.
The
I don't know if you can
vintage
see it.
style.
The vintage style. But now I can wear it on a t-shirt. I can wear it shirtless. I can wear it on a suit a little bit. But,
Shirtless in
Maybe.
the pool.
show a bit of chest hair, which I don't have. But
Yes. Well, you showed us, and I
I can give you
I
some
didn't
of
like
mine.
it at first, but the more I look at it, I think I like it now.
you should try it on your wrist. I mean, the leather is so supple. It's so
I
comfortable.
had the
so
strap.
nice.
I had the same strap. I sold it to Ralph. Ralph, do you still have this strap? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't buy it back or wanted it
No,
back
I didn't.
by any
But I will
because, you
take
know,
it if you still have it.
You never know.
I'll take it back if you still have it.
Yeah, you
'Cause I
never
do
know,
want it back.
Because, Martin very often, sells you something and then wants it back. So,
But I pay good money for it.
You always buy back everything you sell. So
I do.
yeah.
so next in line, Martin, what are you wearing?
I am wearing my trusty Tudor Black Bay 54. Nothing much to say there. It speaks for itself.
And how much time do you have? I'm wearing my Blancpain Villeray Quantième Calendrier Demi Savonnette, blah, blah, blah. It's the longest name in history.
Kissed by
Jean-Claude Biver, who now, in our interview that we had in last Dubai Watch Week, he mentioned that his biggest regret in life was that he sold Blancpain
Yes.
when he looked at my watch. And he kissed it. And now
asked him about
this was the
Swatch.
first time I've ever heard it. Him saying that he actually regrets selling Blancpain. He'd always told everybody, yeah, I sold it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And now he has actually mentioned this in 2 or 3 subsequent interviews as well. So it's he said it in our podcast first. I just want to
Yes.
for the record.
Yeah.
The scoop.
And for the record, we asked him after the podcast how he feels about the Blancpain Swatch. Off the record, off the books.
Yes.
And he just clutched his head in agony. So he was not pleased. This is right when it was announced, right when it came out. So
Yeah, I have a feeling. I mean, now seeing the new Blancpains, the new 50 Fathoms, I am pretty happy about what they are doing.
but I told you this.
So expensive, bro.
But I told you this is my issue. Okay, I tried them on. And the issue is, once again, I'm wearing a 37 millimeter watch, and I had to take 3 links out. Okay, I have a 6.5 inch wrist. 3 links came out of this, which tells you Tudor thought about the fact that this is a unisex watch, right? I went to try on the 38 millimeter Blancpain 50 Fathoms. I couldn't fit in the rubber strap, and I couldn't fit in the bracelet. And that tells me immediately that they are 100% saying this is a women's watch now. And I don't like that.
Maybe. Yeah, it's definitely something that they might be a bit more conservative about this instead of saying, yeah, unisex and everybody can wear it. But it's always a challenge, right? You have sometimes there's the shorter straps, the longer straps on watches. I mean,
but the lady did say, "Oh, we can get you a longer strap. We can get you more links." But that's not the point. The point is, Blancpain at the design table sat down and said, "We're making a women's watch," right?
Yeah.
And the same thing goes with the new Reverso Medium. Also, short strap, can't fit in it, right? And that means, once again, JLC sat down and said, this is a women's size. So then you have to think about, is it really as unisex as they pretend that it is?
So, first topic of today. Have you seen recently all of these red carpet events and these big shows where the actors and movie stars and singers come and attend? And have you realized of how many men are wearing these tiny ladies' watches now?
Yes.
On their wrists.
Yes.
What is going on in the world? Why are they doing this? Like 31 millimeter tiny ladies' watches, and literally ladies' watches, not unisex.
Yeah. And it's not a Cartier crash or something, right?
No, it's really like, why is this happening? What is going on? So,
I've been thinking about this as well because I've been looking at some options from AP. I know that's a brand that Barton loves, but they have some really interesting material choices and dial colors for 34 36 and I'm thinking I can still pull it off at 34 There is like this full yellow gold watch with a blue stone dial. Looks really good. And I saw Joan Mayer wearing it a few weeks back. And I was sending to my sales associate, what do you think about this? I think it's unisex. She didn't answer. I was like, okay.
So I remember
you
the
have
37
been my friend for the longest time, but this is too
exactly.
much.
The 37 used to be unisex, right? Now the 37 is, I don't know, like masculine. But I remember the first place I tried it on was at one of your boutiques in Prague.
Your boutiques?
Well, yeah, because his wife is Czech, so they're always in Prague. But that's one. Is that you have a lot of dealings with the AP boutique in Prague, right? Is it still there?
I bought a couple of watches from them.
Yeah. So I went in there, and that was the first place I tried on the 37 millimeter two-tone, and I was like, "Good God, this is awesome!" Like I remember thinking, because after I owned the 41, and I hated the 41, and the 37 to me was really, really nice. And just recently, I tried on, I don't know what size it was, 35-ish quartz in full gold, full yellow gold. I tried it on at here in Elaine at these resellers, whatever you want to call them. And that was also really cool. It was like maybe 2-3 millimeters thin, the entire watch. Obviously quartz, but it was super cool.
So, and we thought here the young spring chicken Martin still needs a few years until he appreciates gold.
Oh, I love gold.
Mahmoud and me are already there. We are already there here.
I do have to point out, I was an inch and a hair away from pulling the trigger on a solid gold watch this last week.
What happened? What stopped you?
Which one was it?
It was in the auction. Any guesses? It was a reasonable price. It was nearly brand new. It was the Cartier Tank Louis.
Yes,
it was a rose gold in the large size, hand wound, mechanical movement, and the retail price is $54 on that one, and they had it on the auction for $26. And I was like, eee. And then somebody bid and it sold.
Yeah. They at the moment they have a wonderful Blancpain bathyscarf, black ceramic chronograph, flyback chronograph for, I think it's 26, starting at 26, has no bids. So it would be 31,000 with a.
I already have my bid scheduled.
Tempting. It's a very good price.
I'm going for the Nomos, the electric green.
Can I tell you a really interesting story about auctions? Because I never participate in auctions at all. But recently, I got the chance to submit a bid on which watch do you think from AP, which was just recently released.
The
Spider-Man.
Audemars Piguet Cubitus.
The Star Wheel, the
Oh,
Singapore
lovely. Yes.
60 years edition.
Yes,
No,
yes.
One of one.
That's lovely.
And
Wow.
So I was contacted by the AP house that I'm dealing with, and they told me, we've got this unique piece. We know that you like it. Would you like to submit a bid for it? It's going to be like a silent bid. You're only going to know about the results the next day. And I said, isn't Wade Co from Singapore or something? And you know, all these billionaires. And Mr. Wonderful loves red straps and red watches. Am I going to be going against these guys? Like, don't worry, just try your luck. So I put in a bid for.
Don't worry, we have a special one of one for you.
how much? How much did you put in a bid for?
So it sells for usually for 220,000 dirhams. I put a bid for 260,000, and it sold for 1.4 million. So,
Close. You were
I would have
close.
been like,
You were
I'll
so
do
close
26,000. I'll do 26,000 dirhams.
No,
Sorry, sir.
that's a lovely watch, though. I mean, a lot of people love the Star Wheel, even though you can get the same complication from other brands for way less money. But it's still a cool watch. I mean, I think we have in our watch group we have a few of them. So Salim has one, and some other people. It's a really lovely watch. Yeah.
yes.
So
I agree.
auctions are actually quite nice. This is a special auction, but I have a friend who also is a Chopard collector, and he has a couple of these Alpine Eagles, and he has just gotten one in, not just, but it's a few months ago. He got one of one, which was done for a charity auction, and he bid and he got it. Of course, it's not cheap, right? If you want to have a one of one, but it's something very special. If you're really into a specific brand and you want to have like the crown jewel of your collection of a specific model, then a one of one is certainly something very special.
It is, and I hope next time that they call me for something like this, it's going to be a Dubai special piece, which is probably going to sell for 10 million dirhams.
Yeah, I mean, maybe after a while and after being part of the AP family, which, by the way, I'm also now part of it, right? You know,
Welcome to the family.
Oh, yes, you are. Did you hear about his watch breaking?
Breaking.
Yeah, of course. I have the chronograph movement, right? So
That's for next week's episode, guys. It
Can
hasn't
I
come
tell
out
you
yet.
can I tell you about my offshore watch breaking, and I had to send it for service because of the
no,
chronograph
tell me.
as well.
Yeah, tell me. What happened? What happened with yours?
What happened is that I took it with me to Greece. Usually I wear my watch like once every week or so, but this time I was wearing it every day. I went swimming with it. I went to the beach. I went whatever, working fine. And then on the last day, I was
an offshore, yeah.
playing, exactly, wearing, I was just trying the chronograph and then stopped it. I noticed that the minute hand started creeping forward and then stopping at the 1 minute.
Yes, that's
I
exactly
was
what
just
mine
thinking,
does.
Exactly. So
Jesus Christ, you guys pay so much money for this shit and nothing ever works.
I can explain exactly what happened. So this is a new movement. It's a flyback chronograph movement. It's the first in-house flyback chronograph movement from AP that they have ever made in history. So it obviously has its what we call in German Kinderkrankheiten. So it's like the growing pains. So there's a couple of things. However, they already found the reason for it, right? So the problem is the first batch of watches is, of course, affected. This is the first symptom that you have. Eventually, if you don't fix it, it will continue running. The minute hand will just continue going, even if the chronograph is stopped, right?
So the clutch is slipping, yeah?
There is a clutch, and it's a tiny piece. This is the clutch that has an issue or is, let's say, bad designed or has to be changed. There's whatever it is. So for my specific one, we already ordered the spare parts, and I'm waiting until it arrives, and then I can do it locally, so they don't have to send it in anymore.
Okay, I can tell you something about this because I did also speak to the technical people here in Dubai, and they told me they encounter this maybe 2-3 times a month.
Rubbish.
People coming into
rubbish. We have already 7 of these issues locally in our watch group only.
No, I'm
So
saying
it's
a month. So they're encountering this quite often.
So
and
2 to 3 times a month. Okay, so yeah.
Yes. So it said it's quite common, and now they figured out that it's a hammer, which is the issue. That's the one that stops the chronograph from moving. That it's not strong enough.
Yep.
And they already have an upgrade for the movement. So the movement parts upgrade have been sent here to the Middle East, and they don't have to send it to Switzerland.
Yeah.
So I've sent already my watch 3 weeks ago. They told me it's going to take 2 weeks. Now it's the 4th week. I haven't heard back from them yet.
Yeah. So they have to wait, and they have to. That's why I'm saying this, because it takes a couple of weeks, because they need to have your serial number of the movement and all of the stuff. Send this to Switzerland, and then they send the appropriate part. Who knows why? And that's why sometimes it takes a bit longer, because they have to wait for the parts to arrive. But you're absolutely right. It's some part of the movement. I was told a clutch, hammer, same. Somewhere in this assembly there is an issue, and it's tiny, but it's what happens. We remember Tudor with the Black Bay GMT. They had this. Every watch had that from the GMT.
Well, what was the issue there?
The date was actually sometimes going stuck in half. You know, it was going 1.5 days in advance, or 2 days in advance because there was.
So I remember Oris had this on the Caliber 400s when they were new, right? Every time you pull out the crown, every time you push in the crown, you set it, and then it jumps forward, the minute hand, significantly.
But
so
this is in the beginning. They said, that's how it is.
Yes, right? The
Kinderkrankheiten. So
yes, the Walter Cronkite.
But what I find normal with this now is it's basically a rite of passage as an AP
offshore
person.
Owner.
Exactly, you have to go through it. It's just, and after that you love your watch even more.
Yes, exactly.
Because it's like Italian cars. You think they have character because they just don't work all the time.
This is why we say Toyota Camrys have no soul, right? Because nothing ever happens to them.
They just work, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there you go. Anyway, and another great thing about soul is you love it when your car starts doing something, and then you take it to the shop to try to show them, and at that moment it decides to stop doing it.
Yeah.
So I was doing this yesterday night. My car was making this gigantic clunking metal on metal noise every time you came to a full stop or accelerated from the stop. So I took it to the shop and I said, listen. So they hooked up all of these listening things. They have these little microphones, and they hooked it up to the suspension to see where the sound was coming from.
Really?
And we couldn't replicate it.
Ford?
No, this is for the Mitsubishi.
Then.
Yeah. And I don't know why that would be more. Because we took it for a drive. They heard it. And they said, okay, let's hook it up and see exactly where it's coming from to triangulate the location of the sound. And as soon as they did that, no noise came.
Yeah. So is this when you go into when the engine braking starts or something? Or is this?
No, essentially when you come to a full stop.
Right.
There's a metal on metal clunk once per stop and once per leaving the stop. So I thought it was the 4-wheel drive system, so I put it in 2-wheel drive. It wasn't that. They tightened everything down. Nothing was loose. So they have no idea what it is. So they said, keep driving it. If nothing's dangerous, keep driving it. If it gets worse, we'll deal with it then.
What I had once with a car, I don't know what it was. I think, was it a BMW? I don't know. But it had this when you actually were at the traffic light and you have your foot on the brake, so the clutch is actually not fully engaged. They have this sometimes that when you're in it's like a semi-park position, right? When you have so it disengages, so not to wear down the clutch, and then you get off the brake. It takes a bit for it to just connect, and if you then step on the gas, everything is fine. But if you step immediately on the gas, then it just would get this clunk.
Yes, that's usual. But this is like a knocking sound, like two metal components coming together. And I just spent an absolute insane amount, like half the worth of the car in maintenance 2 weeks ago. So I was guessing they didn't put something back correctly because they had the whole engine nearly out.
What 3,000 dirhams?
Four.
Wow.
But yes, it's a quarter of the value of the car, but still. So let's see what happens. Who knows? But anyway, point of story.
Back to watches.
Yes.
Back to watches.
So I have a question. What do you think about Jubilee bracelets on Submariners? Oops.
I've been thinking about it a lot. I don't know whether I like it or not. I think Submariner is a very sporty watch. shouldn't have a dressy bracelet. But if it works, it works. I don't know.
Yeah, this is the Forstner bracelet, right? So I think because Forstner also was as the predecessor company of Forstner, JB, actually made original Rolex bracelets for Rolex, right? So
JB Champion.
they know things
To
about
respect the full
bracelets,
name.
even though I don't know if this is a reinvigorated brand, so I don't know how much of the old brand is still in there, but it doesn't matter. So this is, of course, I guess, it's a very nice and comfortable bracelet. It doesn't have, of course, the original clasp. I think I could fit it if I wanted to, but I don't, because this has like a micro adjust in it, which is very, very handy, especially at the moment with the weather and the heat. I realized that how often I actually use this when my wrist swells a bit. I also, next question. I modded this watch a bit, the original bracelet, because the original bracelet is this stamped clasp, because that's the 16610, right, with the aluminium bezel. So the original bezel had this dive extension, this humongously long thing that you can clip out, right? Which I swear has never been activated in this watch. This is from 2009, and you could see that this has probably never been used. So I removed this, and I put in an aftermarket link that has this comfort extension that you usually have on the Datejust and stuff, this half a centimeter thing that you have on Rolex watches, right? When you don't have the glide lock, but you have this little one click that you can unhook there, basically. And that was amazing. This is exactly what you need. So it's a bit modded. It's not original anymore, but I think it's good for me because I really like this.
Yeah, from a utility perspective, I'm sure that you're going to be very happy with it. But I'm also pretty certain that in 20 years' time, this bracelet is going to become collectible and everyone's going to want it in its original form.
Which I can do because I have the original parts.
You haven't lost it yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's going forward 100%. This is going to be lost.
No, it's in the box.
Okay.
In the box.
I agree with these diver extensions. My Pelagos, your Pelagos, had this on it, right? And it's absolutely pointless. But had my bracelet not had already glide lock or T-fit or whatever you want to call it, I think this is a very good use of that extra space because the clasp is already longer. So why the hell not, right?
Yeah, and this old Submariner has only 3 micro adjust holes, right?
And you have to have a toothpick or something.
And because of this big mechanism that is under the clasp, because of the diver extension, the old one, right? It's like these 3 plates that are on top of each other. It's just bulky, and it's not very easy to actually move it around, not like a normal one. So now I have it easy to move, and I have a 5mm extra, very quick extension without using any tools. So that's pretty nice.
Amazing. Although I have this on my Explorer and essentially I unclipped it and I've left it unclipped ever since I had it. So because I used it as a fitting technique, like almost like a half link, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, you can use that as well.
I still would like a micro adjust on there because I don't have anything.
Forstner, I think it's Forstner or some other Steel Reef, I think they're called. They are producing half links for basically every watch that you can imagine, which is amazing that actual companies don't do this.
The Cartier Santos, which has no micro adjust, no half link, no nothing. And I could not fit in that. If I put an extra link, it was too big and it would slide below my wrist bone. If it was the other way around, it would be too small. And I got so sick and tired of this.
But in the bin.
It went straight to the bin.
Yeah. So
to the point where I forgot that I owned this watch, by the way.
Yeah,
I saw it the other day on someone. I'm like, this looks familiar. Like,
I should have a Cartier.
I thought about it. I was like, can I try it on?
I have a question, Mahmoud. Can you show me your wrist again? Sorry for everybody who's listening. So, are you wearing your watch before or after this wrist bone thing?
After.
After.
Like as you should. If you wear it before, you're doing it incorrectly.
No,
I know. It just
depends
keeps
on you.
sliding back. Anyway, so it slides back.
See, this is the
what
thing.
I want is to have it as far as possible towards my hand.
Yeah, this is exactly how I wear my watch as well, because it doesn't, for me, it doesn't fit behind the wrist bone because my wrist bone is so tiny, so non-pronounced. It doesn't stay there. It always goes towards my hand.
Stupid.
So that's why I wanted to have it there. Yes, I know. People are telling me like, "Oh, you're wearing it wrong." No, my wrist doesn't work otherwise. It's just
I'm wearing my watch on my right hand. Got lots of people tell me that I'm wearing the watch wrong. But I also found that even if I wear it on my right hand, I don't hit it against walls or tables or whatever. I'm still very careful.
I have no issues with people wearing it on the opposite hand. You don't have to be left-handed, right-handed. You could wear it on whichever wrist you want. But when I do see somebody wearing it above the wrist bone, I think this is a newbie.
Yeah, it's just above. For me, it's below. But I think
it should be as far towards your
elbow. Yes, sure.
as
Right on your
possible.
elbow.
Why
Right
not?
above your elbow?
If you could.
But this is the thing. I can't because it just doesn't stay unless I cut off my blood circulation on my hand.
Which
that's
look
how my
at
wrist
how
is.
tight this is. You can see
And
fully.
some wrists are like this. If you don't have this pronounced bone there, then it just doesn't work. You can't wear it in.
Then you should
I
give
think-
up watches. Why do you even get into the hobby if
exactly.
you don't have the body for it?
I could just.
The body for it.
I like wearing my watches exactly where they are, but because also it has another benefit. You see it when you wear a suit. And
Yes.
and your shirt, it's much easier to actually tell the time because you don't have to do this and pull out
No,
your.
you
pull out
gently
your,
lift up
Yeah,
your...
you gently, yeah.
Gently.
It's a very sophisticated move that
Yes.
you've trained
your
in front of the mirror.
Ferragamo.
Jazz
Trained-
music in the back.
Yeah, he has trained in front of the mirror. Then a little bit of a breeze comes in, and his hair is waving, and then he's like, "Oh,
Yes,
yes,
in your
okay."
linen suit. Obviously, I don't see the issue.
With your Hannibal Lecter suit, yeah.
Yes, I do have a Hannibal Lecter linen suit. I do.
Okay, I see. With a
and
hat.
you want to know what's in my fridge? No.
Better not. So when we said that I'm the king of segways, so my watch bracelet clicked, right? So that's the main topic today. What if Mahmoud would have bought the Corne de Vache, by the way, which means horn of a cow.
Cow horns. Yes.
Yes.
If he would bought this watch, which he was so excited about, right, and so lusting after, what if he got the watch and he would have realized it just doesn't click with him? So while on paper everything should have been perfect, right? This is like the watch he was just after so much, and for such a long time he actually
And it depreciates like a stone, right? So
debated with
Thank you for reminding me. Yes.
no, I'm just saying in the sense that if it was a Kermit, and all of a
Yes.
sudden you're like, oh, I don't like it, and you're gonna sell it for twice what you bought it for, it's fine, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But what if you what happens? I mean, not what happens, but what are the reasons of why this could potentially be? Right? There's a lot of these things where you just don't click with the watch in a way that you thought you would, because it is something happened, right? It's just it's not perfect. It could be, for example, I mean, first of all, for months you're excited and you get it, and then you just feel like, is it me? What is wrong? Was all my anticipation misguided? Did I project something that I thought how I would look with the watch, how I'd feel with the watch? Is this all wishful thinking? And then you put it on your wrist and it just doesn't work. I think Mahmoud and Martin, for example, you have then two different, and me, we have three different skin tones. Right now, on the camera, Martin looks very pink, at least in my camera view, right?
Yes, he does.
I look
He
very
looks
pale.
like a young, sexy Santa Claus.
Oh, thank you. As soon as I got a haircut and a beard cut yesterday,
With a
should have seen me yesterday.
big alcoholic nose. The poor mall Santas that always have to, probably are drunk the whole time because it's such a tough job.
You remember that movie Bad Santa?
So sometimes it's actually the skin tone. right? When you put the watch on your wrist and you feel or the colors of, let's say, the dial or the metal, and you just put it on, it just doesn't work that well. Maybe you didn't have the chance to try it out,
yes,
or in different lights. Sometimes it's just this.
But
yeah.
Is it really? Because I'm thinking to myself, it can be if it's the color of a dial. Maybe the metal itself, maybe not so much because I'm only wearing silver stuff. But when I bought that one Seiko, the Seiko GMT, the whatever the freaking thing was, that reissue of the Navigator timer, and it was a super dark gray, which I didn't understand why stainless steel was dark gray. Like it looked almost like the Pelagos. So the Pelagos titanium, I don't mind being dark gray, but this one, it just bugged the bejesus out of me why it was gray. And this is something you don't see on pictures.
Yep.
When you see it in the metal, it's freaking like gray.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why Rolex uses 904 steel, because they can get a bit more sheen out of it, right? Because it's a softer material, but it is, which I know a lot of people think it's harder, 904 steel. It's not. It's softer actually than 3816, but it is a bit more shiny and you can polish it better or make it more shiny. But I am with you there. Sometimes it is these little things that you don't realize in the beginning. And sometimes it's just maybe also the enablers. You know, I'm looking at us.
Oh, no, never.
You are basically seeing a watch and you think, I should love this watch because it is such, everybody loves this watch. So something must be wrong with me that I'm not falling in love with it, right? So you just feel you're doubting everything.
No, I think something is wrong with everyone else for liking it. They're wrong. Yeah, it's just that's plain and simple. But once again, you're talking big things. This is big things here, right? So you mentioned this earlier. Before when we were off the camera or off the books, you said you look up the dimensions. So immediately from dimensions, you know that this should work for you, right? This watch should be exactly what you want. Yeah. But then the little things, once you have it in the middle, once you have it on the wrist, the little things creep in, such as a bracelet that pulls hair, a clasp or a fit, like with my Santos that didn't fit perfectly, right? It was either too tight or too loose. For the Seiko I just talked about, I hated how much spacing there was between the dial and the glass. And the hand stack was like 2 centimeters, in between each hand. And it just looked cheap and stupid, right? Also, this will impact the price, right? If I pay 1,000 dirhams for that Seiko, I would say it's fantastic. But if I pay 6,000 dirhams for that Seiko, I'm going to say, nah, the finishing sucks. Yeah. So there's so many variables of why psychologically you would not click with something, right?
Yeah, but yes. I think, Ralph, also, you did hit on an important point when you talked about skin tones. And I would add to that wardrobes as well. So early on, 5, 6, 7 years ago, I didn't really care about, how my watch will work with what I'm wearing or with my lifestyle or whatever. Now I think I've narrowed down the things that I really like, even in terms of colors and everything, and that's partly due to my skin tone. So now I wear more greens and browns and earthy tones, which I think they work well with me. I can't really pull off pinks or turquoise usually, and colors that are too light or too bright. And I think that also translates to watches. And I wear suits quite often, and that's why I also like wearing dress watches quite often.
Yeah, I think you touch a good point there, because you work for a company that has lots of customer contact, right? I mean, it's in you are obviously not working in a department store, but you have very important customers, right? So
yes.
You have to look a certain way.
Yeah. So if you work in these big companies, they usually have these seminars for employees where you have this image and style, right? Where they sometimes tell you, I mean, I just know this from one big consultancy, Ernst & Young, who has done that for their employees and went through the entire thing about what is my skin tone, what can I wear, and how does my color choice affect my customer, right? So if I want to go, there's a reason, for example, why bankers always wear dark blue. Dark blue suits are the uniform of bankers because it instills trustworthiness. Dark blue is something that is familiar, it is trustworthiness, it's solidity and all of this stuff. But they're also saying if you want to, for example, encourage a customer to sign, to take an action, wear something contrasting. Wear a bright red tie to your suit or something a bit more sparkly, because now you want something to take action and not just be comfortable and safe and secure. So there's a couple of psychology about colors as well, which means nothing about your watch, but just wanted to say that this can affect of how you dress, because maybe the way you want to dress is very different from what you should dress.
Agreed. I mean, I do travel a lot to Saudi, for example, and a lot of dress watches are gold watches. I'm very conscious that if I'm going to meet someone from the government or otherwise, I should dress for the occasion and for the part. So typically, for example, I wear my Submariner with the Starbucks with a green color because it's like a flag of Saudi.
We had a whole conversation about this, remember? Yeah. And I said, wear the Sub because it works for everything. It works for, lounge time as well as dressing up. And then, of course, it's green.
Yeah, and green is the color of... Not only the color of Rolex, but also the color of the Islam, right? Basically.
Yeah, Saudi flag, everything. So this is why that's such a good pick for this, right?
But coming back to this, the topic at hand, it's just like when you have this and it happens to you, that you have the situation where you feel, oh my God, I just don't love the watch. Don't punish yourself with it. This happens to everybody. It's part of the normal collector life. Martin has been there a few times, maybe a few times too much.
Yes. But I will talk about the what do you call it? The devil's advocate in a moment.
Cognitive dissonance. No, it's sometimes you should love the watch, but you don't. Same as I mentioned with the colors as before. The colors we want to wear are very often the colors we should not wear with our skin tone because they're not compatible. So if you go to these kind of experts that are telling you, hey, with your skin tone, you should wear these colors. These are the color palettes that you should wear because they are, complementing your skin tone. Very often it's not the ones that you had on your radar because you like other colors that are not matching your skin tone. So it's very often that you are very excited to find out, wow, I could look so much better if I would wear these kind of complementing things. And that can be a watch as well when you have this.
And this is quite funny because everybody tells me, because I have green eyes, that I should wear green. And it's one of the colors that I associate with the least. So I know that this is the color I should be wearing, but I'm just like, nah, like not my style, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on which color. Green, of course. So I don't mind like an olive green, like in a jacket, but like in a shirt, it just it's weird.
But very often I had this. So far, I've avoided this, but I think I eventually will have to give in. But I think you two both have reversals, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
I just got one.
Yeah, you just got one.
I just got one.
Yeah.
So
I sold my Piaget and I got reverso instead.
Hi, this is just claps for you.
I would also say that well done. But the Piaget is a lovely watch. It's just like you have to really like it. You have to. Really
I must tell you something. Okay, so sometimes I buy watches. I do enjoy wearing them and everything, but sometimes I fall out of love with them. And to me, it's more about the collection value of the watch and where the brand is heading. And if I still believe in where the brand is heading, even though I don't wear the watch, I'm happy to keep the watch. So, for example, for the longest time ever, I had the Speedmaster, and I love the watch and everything. But recently, I feel like both Omega and Swatch Group, they're not heading in the right direction. And I feel like this watch, even though it's very historically relevant and it's an amazing watch and everything, from a collection or collectability standpoint, you can always sell it and get it later. It's not going to be a rare occurrence.
100% agree.
Yeah. Agree. And this is one of the things that I also said, once again, like I'm down to one Rolex and I'm up to 2 Tudors now, right? And the reason is I believe that Tudor is doing better than Rolex at the moment. I think Tudor, where they're heading, how they're dealing with everything, how they just deal with customers, is a significantly better experience than Rolex. And Rolex has pissed me off one too many times.
Yeah. But I wanted to come back to the JLC, the Reverso, and the Speedmaster because it's a perfect example for me. I always thought, well, you have to have a Speedmaster at least for a while in your collection just to get the experience of having a Speedmaster. Never had one. Never had a Reverso.
So how can you talk about it if you haven't had one?
I love the Reverso. Yeah, well. you can have an opinion about it, right? But you can't say this is how it feels wearing it.
Yes.
Because my point is, the Reverso is for me the perfect example for a watch that I should love, because I love the brand, I love the shape, I love the watches, right? And there's some of these models like the chronograph, and I don't know if you have the chronograph or the moon phase. I don't know which one you bought.
The Reverso, I actually got the simplest Reverso. So it's a tribute to the second and lacquer red dial.
Oh, lovely. That's also very nice.
I thought you got something. No, you the other one you didn't get, right? The one that I commented on. Yeah. You said you. Okay.
The point is, I should love that watch, but every time I try one on, same as with the Speedmaster, it just doesn't. I look at my wrist and think, no, it's just not me for whatever reason.
Try the tribute. It's very fun.
I might have to do. But
so the
next
tribute
thing
is
with the Speedmaster,
bigger.
I had the same thing when the white dial came out. I said, like, that's it. That's now my watch, because the white dial Speedmaster, that must be perfect. Went to the boutique, tried it on, and same result. It was like, no, this does not work.
Yes, but once again, you have to remember, I have had the Black Bay 54 3 times. And I don't know, obviously the watch hasn't changed. The watch is still the same watch that I had 2 times before this, but it is my most worn watch now. And it just works with every situation. It's the watch that I tend to grab first because it just works, right? It's not too big, it's not too small, it's in a perfect dimensions. It's sporty enough. It has a bezel that I can time things with. Meanwhile, we talked about chronographs the other day on a slightly off topic, and we said that we kept leaving them. We forget what we're timing, right? That was about a week ago we said this.
Yeah, exactly.
In this week, I've worn my Speedmaster almost every single day. And every single day I timed something, and every single day I left it running, and I'm like, "What the hell was I? Why is the second hand running?"
And then you're like, "Oh shit! I wanted to really know how long it takes me to,
Yes. And every time, and I was
this.
like, "Oh!" And each time I thought about Ralph saying this, and I'm like, "Yep." And then I was like, "But it won't happen again, right?" Next day, exact same thing, and I'm like, "But it can't happen 3 times." Happened again. It's a freaking
I think we have to admit then we are flawed people. We are not based on specs as people. We are passionate, especially watch collectors. We are very passionate and emotional to a certain extent, and that is not necessarily explainable, right? Why you don't like a watch that you should watch on paper, like on paper, or that you thought you will love. Sometimes you can't explain it, and you have to just accept it psychologically to say,
yes,
well, it is act of passion, my stuff, and then it is fine to actually respect the watch. And I think that's just a segue into Mahmoud's topic today, to say you can actually admire and love watches that don't work for yourself.
Yes,
you can be just
admire and don't acquire. And I'm not going to take any credit for coming up with this. It was actually my trusty friend ChatGPT, which became a really close friend of mine in my watch collecting journey. It validates my every decision.
Have you given ChatGPT already a name? Because you can give it a name.
I gave him the chance to choose a name for itself, and it came up with BS name. So I said, I'm just going to call you ChatGPT because it's not working. Because
that's the next level. If you already give your ChatGPT persona a name.
Well, we bought a property together.
Oh yeah, she already moved in?
Exactly. Yeah. So I think how I'm using honestly ChatGPT recently is that I gave it the list of the watches that I have and that my preferences for what kind of style of watches, and then before I pull the trigger, I'm asking whether this complements the direction that I want to collect in, or it's just not working. And actually, it's been quite good with this. So some of the watches, I believe for example, I wanted to buy Moser, and I like some of their, I know Martin is already shaking his head.
Moser has amazing watches.
No, it's not that I'm shaking my head. It's I believe that you are not a Moser person as much as I am not a Moser person. Would I like a Streamliner, the 39 millimeter Streamliner with the
green
lacquer or whatever? No, the blue one that they came out with. Well, that stunning blue. What is it? What was it? Was it lacquer? Was it?
What is it? Hammered?
Enamel.
I don't know. Yeah, something.
It was an enamel dial, and it was stunning. And I'm like, and I had it on the wrist. I didn't want to take it off my wrist, but I thought to myself, when would I ever wear this? Never.
It's about collecting. Yeah.
Yeah.
ChatGPT was like, this is a very fine watch, etc. But I don't think it works with with the collection, the direction you want to head to. So I've been listening, which it's a good advice because ChatGPT is not trying to give me, at least I hope, bad advice because you should buy this watch because everyone likes it. Or I would like to think that it's a little bit independent, even though it's programmed to validate everything that we say to it.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's it helps you to be a bit more relaxed and a bit more self-reflecting. It's like, do I really want this watch? Is this really me? If somebody asks you, like Martin just said, I don't think it's you. That might be you then thinking, wait a second, is it? Or does he have a point? Or is he just, why should I trust a person who buys the same watch 5 times? So
yeah. And what's going to change the 5th time, right?
And hates AP as well, which I like.
But here I am now. I have to say,
he can at least say he owned an AP.
And I didn't like it.
Had a Royal Oak.
But I also had a liner lined up as soon as I bought it, so that was also there.
Sorry, what is?
I had a buyer lined up when I bought the watch, just in case, because I knew I would be able to get more money out of it. Because it was bought secondhand at one of these jewelry shops. And then I negotiated it down, and then I was able to sell it for more. But this is before things had value, right? We're talking, this was in the 40s, right? Yeah. I paid 40 something for it and sold it for 50. Yeah. So it wasn't a big deal. But anyway, all I'm saying is I have now owned this going on over a year now, and I've worn it religiously for a year. And before, I sold it in a week every single time. So I don't know what has changed, but I do believe Mahmoud's idea of telling ChatGPT your entire collection and saying, this is what I own. ChatGPT would be really good at picking out overlap.
Yeah, or a trend.
Right? Or something, right? But not in a bad way, I'm saying overlap. So for instance, for me, I didn't like this. I think I didn't connect with it because I still had the Submariner in my collection. And the Submariner was I felt I should love the Submariner. I was at that point already falling out of love with it, but I didn't want to be rash and say, oh, well, this is going to replace the Submariner now. So as much as I would love to say that I buy watches without thinking, I think each watch should be a standalone pillar, so to speak, right? Each watch should stand for itself. I think you can't look at watch collections that way because
depends if your budget is in some way limited, which it mostly is, because who has unlimited watch budget, right?
Mahmoud does.
What? That's cool.
I'm sure his wife disagrees.
Definitely. But, plus, you guys are on some WhatsApp groups as well, where there are some really serious collectors. I mean, the more deeper in the hole you get, you find people. Exactly, it's insane.
It's people who just buy, like heavy hitter watches every week, and you think like, what is going on? What are they actually working at? But
yeah, but I have to sell some of my watches to get others. But I'll tell you something funny. I was, I do love clothes as well, and getting nice clothes. And I was at Brunello Cucinelli the other day, and I was saying, you guys used to invite me to events, etc., and that doesn't happen anymore. What happens? I know now I buy like one thing every month or every couple of months. Like, because we've got these other customers who spend like 100,000 dirham weekly. And I'm just thinking, okay, thanks. I'm not going to be able to compete with that ever.
Yeah. But that's I think sometimes a bit of a shame, because it doesn't matter how much you actually buy from a brand. I think if you are a passionate...
Yes, it should be your passion about the brand.
Yeah, and if you're passionate about the brand and you're representing the brand to a certain extent, doesn't matter if you have 10 different pieces from Cucinelli or if you just have 2 or 3, but you're wearing them and you're representing them, right? So, for example, that's something. But I think we have to admit to ourselves sometimes that also our taste changes. And that's why the one thing that I think ChatGPT doesn't take into consideration is sometimes it just only sees what happened, right? It's just the past. So this is what you chose at a specific time during your life. But where you want to go, and if your taste changed, right? Yourself changed, your getting older. You are probably maybe a bit more senior in your career, whatever it might be. So you eventually evolve as a person and then also as a watch wearer. So you might have different things coming up. The next thing is,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because I want to tell you something specifically as well, that I love the Datograph. I think it's the best chronograph ever. And I feel like if I buy it now, even though I don't have the money to buy one, but if I buy it now, I feel like it's going to wear me rather than I wear it. I think it's a much more mature watch and for a different, like more mature person than I am at the moment. But, you know,
but
it
don't
just
you
doesn't
feel
work.
this way? I mean, I feel this way about the Reverso sometimes. Like I'm wearing the Reverso with shorts and a t-shirt, and I'm thinking to myself,
No,
it's a little bit elevated.
Reverso is cool. It's a sports watch,
and that's why I like it. Is because it is historically a sports watch, but the hype, not the hype, because it's not hyped. The persona that JLC has built around the Reverso being this extremely elegant thing, right? And with the Arts Deco Gadrones or whatever. And I'm like, come on, like seriously. Like a bunch of drunk Brits thought this up on a polo field in 1930s India. Like
when there was real glass on the watch.
Yeah.
So you actually needed to protect it. Yeah.
What else did these same people come up with? They came up with gin and tonics because they needed to take quinine to like beat off malaria. The malaria. So they said, well, what's the easiest? Because it tasted too bitter. So they added a bunch of sugar and some, bubbles. And then they said, well, what can we put this concoction into? Gin, of course. And these are the same people that came up with the Reverso. So like that I appreciate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, I think a 400,000 dirham watch is not something that I would be willing to invest into and wear it on my wrist now, especially from with the car you're driving and the clothes you're wearing. You don't want to be in this space to be like so disproportionate to your lifestyle.
Yeah, but I sometimes must say that this is sometimes a bit of a problem, because not only is it like a budgetary problem. Like I used to change my cars more often before I got into watches.
Yeah, me too.
now I'm
almost yearly. I would get a new car.
Priorities have changed, right? It's just like
and oftentimes it was the same car. I was just like, I had a 2012. I want a 2014 now, and this is how I used to live my life before watches.
Yeah, and so sometimes it's like I'm just not buying a new house just because I feel like my watches have reached a position where I should have a bigger house. You know what I mean? It's just not. Yeah. For me, it's just like, no, I don't need it. I don't have kids. I just, that's like, I don't need more space. But the point is, yeah.
No, I was saying, I still think you're better off buying a 400,000 dirham watch than a 400,000 dirham car, because no one's going to sideswipe your watch in Dubai traffic.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't want to talk down on cars because, a 400,000 dirham car, I mean, if it's a nice one, that certainly gives you lots of pleasure as well.
Yeah.
But if you sell this car after 10 years, there will be not much value left, most likely. Where with the watch, there can be a substantial value left. Not that this should influence you in your decision, but I think cars are just always a depreciating asset, right? So it's just the way it is.
As we say, watches are as well, right? Watches shouldn't be, they're not going to appreciate. We shouldn't assume that they're going to appreciate, but
they keep certain values. I mean,
they're better than cars, for sure.
Even if you now go into the Breitling boutique and you buy this super cool gold meteorite Chronomat B01, which I think is a perfect, a lovely watch that looks very similar to the Daytona that is with the meteor dial and the gold case. But if you buy this watch, you will lose 50%, more or less, when you walk out of the boutique or after a year. But then it will stay there, then for a very long time. Even if it's 5 years old, it will still be sort of around this. It will slightly lose on value the older it gets.
But the cars will do the same thing. Once you've plateaued it, and I know this for a fact, the Focus will never go below 40K and the Pajero will never go below 25K. And I've had these cars for over a decade each, and they're going to stay there. And I'm okay with that, right?
Yeah, as long as they work.
Yeah, as long as they work, and it doesn't really matter how many kilometers are on it.
If it's a clean
because
car.
the guy's going to come out, he's going to say, I have 40K to spend on a Focus ST. Let's find the one with the least kilometers. That's what he's going to say, right? Or the cleanest one.
Yes.
So, but the price is not going to go much lower. So there you go.
Yeah, but again, I think watches generally have a bit of a higher, depending on what it is, right? I mean, if you
yes. So the percentage wise, from your original price that you paid, watches will lose about 50% and stay there, right? Meanwhile, cars will probably go down to probably 15% of their original price.
Yeah. I recently had a discussion with somebody who's also on the older side, and he said we talked about the brand Abel, Ebel, Abel, and
I just talked about Ebel.
Yeah. Okay.
They were everywhere.
Yeah. Now,
what the hell?
But these were, and he said, like in the 80s, if there was an Abel in the shop and a Rolex next to it, you would buy the Abel. There was no way you would buy the Rolex because the Rolex was supposed to be boring. It was boring design. Nobody wanted it at the time in the 80s and 90s. This was, and he's a bit older to me, so that means at this time he was in the market for these kind of watches, which I was happily wearing my Swatch. But this is when you think, Abel was a really high-end brand that people had on high respect. That's why a lot of older people still think like, oh, I'm wearing an Abel. And you think...
And the reason I brought this up, this weekend, a friend of mine was here. We went to all the watch shops. We have this kind of jewelry market with all 10 different watch shops. And they're, littered with secondhand watches. And every single one of them had a full case full of Abels. And I'm like, why? What the hell is going on here that I'm not aware of? That there's so many people in the market either selling or buying these Abels, because obviously they wouldn't have them if people weren't buying them. So I think you're right. It must be this generation who's still coming in and saying, oh, that's the one I want, right? Because they remember this was, in their time, the watch to have. And they were all, with these weird bracelets and these weird case shapes. So yeah, and apparently there's a million of them here in Elaine.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the things. This is a watch brand that's more than 100 years old. It's a family owned, right? It has a lot going for it, right? It's a husband and wife company. They started it, and it was I think Eugene Bloom and Alice Levy, and they put together. And this is a married couple, and they didn't change names, so that means they have put the name together. Abel. So
I think some of the bracelets they resemble Moser's bracelets as well on the stream.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a very original bracelet, the one on the Streamliner, and then someone pointed out that it's actually an Abel bracelet.
Yeah, and I think one of the funny things is that Abel is a really a good manufacturer. Yes, yeah. They made movements, even they supplied movements to Omega, right? And that is something which you think, what?
Also Cartier. The quartz movements in the base tanks, at least back when my wife had it, we talked about this before, is an Ebel quartz caliber.
Yeah.
So they're everywhere. But yeah, I see the one that you're talking about is called the Ebel Wave. If you guys want to look that up, the bracelet is exactly that of the Moser Streamliner.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what I made a small mistake. So Abel was owned by the LVMH group until 2003. I just looked this up. And then it was bought by the Movado group. And then since 2004. But before that, they were independent, right? Of course. But
I'm
Movado
sure they were.
has, for some reason, managed to be, how do you say that? Relatively independent. Relatively, I'm saying. Before that, and still have their own style, right? That I think also sometimes comes back.
I do think, going back, even though they're absolute, quartz shitters, the Movado Museum watch is stunning. And I've always felt that way. I don't think I'd wear it, but just from a pure design aspect, they're so unique, and they have looked the same for the last 30 years, and they look great.
I don't know. I don't like the Movado watch, the museum watch.
I disagree. Yes, doesn't look really good. I don't know.
I never had any.
I'm looking at it right now.
I wouldn't wear it. I
it.
wouldn't wear it, but I think that for a design, that you look at that watch and you know for a fact it's a Movado.
Sure,
right?
It is very iconic.
And that's what I'm saying. It's iconic.
It is
and
iconic.
to think that this is kind of like a quartz watch that wasn't really that big of a deal. This was the Daniel Wellington of its time. But Daniel Wellington just stole a bunch of people's ideas and NATO straps and stuff.
AliExpress.
Yeah, exactly. But this Movado was actually like a cool thing. Like that was a design that was actually very, very cool. And just look at it. How 90s is that design?
You could argue that's the pre-Moser.
Yes, because it didn't have a brand name on it as well.
No brand name, no indices, right? It's just like a dial and hands and floating hands
and
on
that
the dial.
circle thing on the top at 12.
So it's not. It has its place in the museum of what is it? Contemporary art, the MoMA or whatever.
Of mall watches.
Museum of Mall watches.
It was.
Boom. That was the mic drop moment. Yeah.
But I have a question though. What do you do when you fall out of love with a watch that you just acquired? Which brings us back to the first question that we're trying to answer. What do you do, Ralph?
Okay, there's some absolute emergency. So the first course of action is try different straps. Right? Just see.
I second that.
Does it help? Is it just the strap it's on that makes it that, and you can completely change the watch and it can completely fall in love with it again and just like, okay, this is it again. I'm in love with it. If that doesn't work, that's the first course of action. Put it away for a while. See if you miss it. Just out of sight.
Put it in a box, in the original box, and put it in a closet somewhere you don't see it or think about it. And if you forget about it, that's it. It's gone.
Yeah.
If you think, I want it back, then you go get it back.
Yeah.
And it feels like a new watch day.
Can I follow up on this because I'm feeling guilty? I've sent my Louis Vuitton watch box for customization a few days back, and I took out the rack where you keep the watches, and I put them away in a place where I don't see them, and I don't miss any of my watches, and I feel very bad. I should now sell them all.
Yes,
yeah, this is one indicator. It is one indicator for sure. When you feel like, and I recently had the same thing, which I put a watch into a separate watch box.
Yeah.
Like these Pelican cases, put it away. And then at some stage I thought like, I really am missing this kind of watch. And then I realized, oh my God, I have one. It's just not in my box anymore. And I thought, duh. So at least I've remembered that I have it, which is a good thing. But,
yes.
But you're right. If that doesn't work, so you put your watch away, it does, and you don't want it back. You try to change the straps and it doesn't work. Then there's only one conclusion you can take. You have the time with the watch has passed. So you had your fun with it, and that's again.
No, he's saying a new watch that he just bought.
No, it's just general. Or is it a new watch?
He said if he just got it and he doesn't click with it, what should he do?
No, I think Mahmoud, you said that you just have any watch, right, in your collection that you don't wear. What was it, Mahmoud?
Well, it can be this or that.
Yeah,
but what did you say? You said specifically something that you've just acquired.
Yes.
Was the prompt.
Look, it happened with me with the Rolex Explorer 2, the white dial. I have been tracking it also for the longest period ever. And then by coincidence in Egypt during COVID, I find it there available in the AD. And the guy, he himself was surprised. I bought it not thinking about anything, didn't even try it on. I was like, I love it. Let's just go home with it. But the more time I spend with it, I realized, first of all, I cannot wear it anywhere because it was during the time where Rolex crime was,
was high.
It was high, and it's a travel watch. You want to travel with it because it has 2 time zones as well. Plus, it was very big, and I have a large wrist. Sometimes I wear 45 watches, but this one was 41 or 42, I believe.
It's 42
millimeters.
The current gen is 42, yeah.
But it's just with the lugs and with the dial color, it makes it feel so much bigger. Yeah.
The white one wears bigger than the black dial one, yeah.
It didn't click. I kept it there for the longest time I could in the watch box. Tried to wear it every now and then. Couldn't change the strap. Maybe I should have put it on a NATO strap, like you say, Martin.
Yeah, I think so.
Or rubber. Or rubber. It looks really nice on rubber.
I don't know. I've never seen it on rubber before. Is it good?
I saw
had the
somebody
black
with an
one,
orange one.
I had the black one with the black dial. I had the same model. I mean, the current model, Explorer 2, 42 millimeters. Maybe for you, the older one, the 40 millimeter one would be nicer. But you sold it or not?
It's still in your collection?
I ended up selling it after 2.5 years. But what I want to tell you, the only rubber strap I would wear is the AP one. It's the highest quality I've tried on.
They're all made by the same people.
Yeah, by BV.
So
BV makes them.
Yeah. So
BV makes them for basically everybody.
Havaianas. They do also slippers with them.
Okay, not everyone, but a lot of these high-end companies, not as high-end as you would think. So, for instance, the AP strap is going to be very similar to, I guess, the one that
straps.
I was going to say which one am I thinking of? The Tudor straps that I had on my Black Bay 54, right? So there's a lot of similarity between these. There's only a few companies that make them.
Yeah, I think...
I've got the rubber straps, one for my overseas and the other for the offshore. Honestly, the offshore one is way higher in quality.
I have them both as well, and I would say it's just different because it's just more... it's thicker, right? I mean, that definitely has a bit more thickness to it, and then that's I think a choice that you make as a company. But I wouldn't say from a quality perspective one is worse than the other. But you have to also say that the one from AP is substantially more expensive.
Sure.
Because I mean, I just bought one for my AP, and the light blue one, which looks really cool on my dark blue dial watch. So it's lovely, and I love wearing it. But 2 pieces of rubber without the buckle, 2,400 dirhams. That is just insanity. I mean, this is, sometimes you. I was thinking last time, like, oh, look, this Casio Oak. There's a new Casio. There's 2 new Casio watches. There's a steel, right, Martin? I just got the email yesterday or the day before that are having the old look, right? The old traditional G-Shock look, right, with the colors and the color scheme with the black and the steel.
I didn't see it. I didn't get this email.
Yeah, and they both look just really, really nice. And I thought, 2,400 dirhams.
It's too much.
I just went to the AP boutique and said, like, what's the rubber strap? 2,400? Sure.
I've done this before,
like, give it to me.
And I know exactly. In certain circumstances, you don't care about the money. And I don't understand how this works. I agree with you.
It's sometimes weird. And I thought, like, yeah, no. And this is an entire watch that I would probably have a lot of fun wearing, even though it's just a G-Shock or something. But it's weird. And that's just where I think we are just getting numbed with this, right? Because no rubber strap should be ever costing $600 or $700. This just isn't okay. It's just because they get away with it. Without a buckle, exactly. It's just because they get away with it. And that's where I think, man, that's they're taking us for a ride sometimes, right?
In their defense, AP is the only brand I think they haven't adjusted their prices up this year.
Because they did it twice last year.
Well, they also have,
modestly.
They have some issues. I mean, like all brands have issues at the moment. I think with how much they sell. I just had this discussion in a German watch group, and there's a couple of retailers or sales representatives as well in this group, and they said that the deliveries of the Cubitus and the Nautiluses and the Aquanauts, for example, with Patek, how Patek wants to make the Cubitus a success, right? So they make it like you have to buy the Cubitus if you ever want to buy a Nautilus, right? Instead of really replacing the Nautilus, they basically now make you buy it, even though it's actually quite popular. So a lot of people like it, right? So it's actually selling
because a
well.
lot of people have no taste.
No, actually, on some wrists, I have seen it on some wrists where it actually looks okay.
The smaller one looks quite nice. Looks much better. The original one looks horrible.
If you have a big wrist, then it
we're
can
off
work.
Topic again. Let's go back to the topic. I have 2 more things to say about this topic.
What was our sort of our topic?
Yeah. I'm just saying that we went off from what can you do if you, Mahmoud asked, what can you do if you fall out of love with a watch?
Yeah.
I wanted to suggest two things. You mentioned the straps. I absolutely agree with this.
Putting it away.
One, putting it away was another one. The other one I would recommend would be to take it on a trip where you have nothing but that watch and you have no other choice. And that really gets you, let's say, a week of just you and that one watch. And even if you don't feel it really at the beginning, at the end, you might have bonded with it, right? So I do believe time is the last variable here. So you might not feel it at the beginning, but give it some time and you might change your mind. I just, once again, for the fifth time, rebought the Hamilton khaki. Just a little mechanical one, because I was thinking I'm going to Romania. When I did go to Romania, and I was like, I don't even want to wear a Tudor really. Like I don't know how, it is over there. Let's just get a Hamilton khaki and wear that because no one cares about Hamilton khakis. And I wore it for 9 days straight. And I have to say, day one, I was like, eh. Day 9, I was very pleased with the watch. We went into the watch shops and I went to the GLC boutique and I slapped my Hamilton khaki down to try on some stuff. And I didn't feel out of place doing it. It worked. And that I really appreciated for it. So I do think that it was that bonding time that changed my mind.
So I think that's a fantastic Lume Plotters copyrighted 3-point action plan.
Yes.
If you feel that you just got out of your watch, first, try changing the strap. Second, put it away for some time. And if that doesn't give you some indication, force yourself to wear it and see if that
see what
changes.
Happens.
I want to add 2 more very quickly.
Oh, okay.
What? It's a trilogy. You can't add 2 more.
It's a trilogy.
It's not a pentilogy.
It's like The Matrix when they released that film. It's horrible.
No, it's
but you just have to do it anyway.
It's Douglas Adams who said a trilogy in 5 parts.
Exactly. So let's do things. Watch video reviews of your watch again, because when you see other people describing, all the benefits, all the nice things about it, you might fall in love with it again. It's something that, I feel sometimes I've outgrown IWC, but every now and then I would put on the John Mayer video talking about how his big pilot is also a clock, and how the differentials and whatever, it makes me fall in love again with the watch. And the last thing, see someone else wearing that watch. It's like, if you feel jealous or you feel like, oh no, it does actually look good and someone else must also look good on me, then, it might make you fall in love with it.
And if you fall out of love because you see someone else wearing it, that's a sign. Yes. It is. And I saw that with the Cartier Santos recently. I'm like, ew. And then I saw it with my ex Submariner, right? And both times I was like,
just because, Ralph has one now, so you can't possibly.
No. Once again, this is the ceramic one. I have to specify.
I'm just
really
joking.
like the aluminum ones.
Yeah.
Except for the clasp.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
We can all agree on that this clasp was weird.
Yes.
But it was the longest Submariner in production, right? 22 years or so, from 1980 to no longer.
Got the book.
1988 to
I sold my book.
I haven't read it yet. I have to. I ordered one book that should come in September. What was it about?
It's a glorified brochure, I think. The Submariner.
It is. That's all it is. Yeah. It was. But the numbers are good in it. I like the production numbers.
So the 1.6. How long was the
in the meantime,
Rolex
while Ralph looks this up, you don't have to talk while you type, No,
I'm just saying that so that we all know in production. I think it was 22 years, but I could be wrong. And the result is it was 21 years. Okay, so I was slightly
close enough.
So from
when to when?
1989 to 2010.
Yeah.
And mine is the last version. It has the last serial
and the
number.
reason I knew when you said 1980, I knew that it was not quite right because in 85, my birth year, it was still friction bezels. So
really?
So I don't know. I think the patent was maybe 30. So 1953, Blancpain got the patent to clicky bezels. And then it stayed until unidirectional clicky bezels, right? And then it stayed until I'm guessing 30 years. So in 1984-ish would be when Rolex would have started, plus minus, developing a clicky bezel.
But I think what you see in this, not just with this model, the 16610, is that there's a lot of little changes they made over the time. They had drilled holes. on the case. Then they didn't. Then they had the Rehort, the engraving in the Rehort. Mine has this whole serial number engraved and the Rolex around the dial. I think they changed small things with the bracelet as well over time, but they never made it a new reference number. Right, so it's 21 years is basically more or less the same shape of the watch, except the drilled holes. But it's interesting that they didn't change something for 21 years, which is pretty cool when you see how often they sometimes make a mistake, like the Datejust 2, which I personally like, but that was only produced for five years before they changed it to the Datejust 41.
In the meantime, I did Google this just so I could be clear. I looked up. The 1953 was correct. Blancpain held the patent for the unidirectional bezel. In 1979, the Submariner date received a unidirectional bezel. And it was not until 1990 that the no-date sub, or the Submariner itself, received a unidirectional. Can you believe that? 1990. You still had a friction bidirectional dive bezel. That's nuts.
That's nuts. And so, when you see today, when they talk about the Submariner and how it always was the tool for the divers and all of this stuff, and you think, come on.
With a friction bezel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and we had,
on that bombshell.
And we had the discussion about the name Submariner. It's called Submariner. That's how Rolex calls it in their own advertisement, not Submariner. No.
Who says Submariner?
A lot of people say Submariner.
A lot of people buy Cubitus's.
Like submarine, submarine.
Yes.
Cubitus,
yes. All right.
So, if you ever fall out of love, come to the clinic. We are opening it.
Ralph will sit with you.
Yeah, it's the Martin will force you to wear it for a week.
I have to do. I
I'll
do
make
have
you
to say,
change the straps.
we do believe in this because I have rebought 2 of the Grand Seikos that I fell out of love with, quote unquote. I rebought the exact same ones because I had new straps. And I saw other people wearing them on those straps. And I thought, this is the color combo I've been missing. And I rebought the watches, put them on the straps, and it was fantastic. So, yes.
Yeah. And if I want to make some advertisements, Opto Watch Co. in Dubai, a fantastic local watch store. If you want something very quick, they have very good quality watches. We are not getting paid. We are not getting
watch
anything.
Watch straps, not watches.
What did I say? Yeah. Sorry, watch straps.
Watches.
And of course, there's Mon straps and Deluxe in Singapore. If you want a different variety of stuff.
There's also eBay for those of you that like the old Hodinkee straps, like me. Tons of them on eBay.
Yeah. Okay. So in this case,
alrighty.
Thank you very much, and
peace out.
We hear you next week. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.